shit on themselves, right? Because your spectrum or your rectum is there to hold your bowels, man. That's why when if you do any study, when people die, right, uh when they die, their body, right, those muscles, they're not contract anymore, they're loose. And what's an indication that when somebody dies, they bowels, waste, all that comes out of them because their body's not holding it anymore. Okay, it's loose, so it all comes out. All right. Oh man, it says K-gel exercise has been recommended to maintain muscle tone by a speaker at the Society of the Scientific Study of Sexuality and the American Association of Sex Educator, who noted he had never physically observed loosening in any of his patients. In 1993, a study published in the Journal of the Royal Society of Medicine found that 14 out of a sample of 40 men received anal intercourse experiment episodes of frequent anal incontinence. However, in 1997, a study published in the American Journal of Gastrology found no difference in levels of intercourse between homosexual men who engaged in anal sex and heterosexual men who did not, and criticized that the early study for it includes on factualates in its definition of intercourse culturally. Alright? And what was that? That was big between the Greeks. Let me get it right here. Alright? The term Greek love has long been used to refer to the practice, and in modern times, doing it the Greek way is sometimes used as a slang for anal sex. However, homosexuals and sex was far from a universal accepted practice in ancient Greece. It was target of jokes in several comedies. All right, which that's a lie, man. They was known to do that, as well as the Romans. Okay, you can read all that. I'm gonna put this under the link. All right. And they got religions or whatever. Alright. Now to this article. Alright. This is RZA.com New World Plan to Depopulate the Earth. Okay. This is by Steve Jones, alright, which is 4/13/2005. So it's an old article, but it has good information. Alright. The New World Order, basically, this is part of the elite's plan to depopulate the world's population. It says it says if I were reincarnated, I would wish to be returned to Earth as a killer virus to lower human population levels. Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. World population is, by all intents and purposes, completely out of control. Plans are underway now, implemented by the New World Order elites, to depopulate the planet's 6 to 7 billion people to a manageable level between 500 million and 200 billion, which that goes back to the Georgia Guidestones, right, which they want to maintain. First commandment is to maintain the world's population under 500 million. All right, so in all actuality, which I think it was either late last year or early this year, they made an announcement that the world's global population, right, is estimated at 7 billion. 7 billion. So they want to eliminate 6.5 billion people off the planet to reach their goal. All right, this is the elites. Talking about the Rockefellers, the Gettysburg, the Rothschilds, right, the Oppenheimers, right, the elite bankers. This is their whole mindset. All right. It says there are many means and methods of depopulation that are being employed today. The three the three primary of which include unsustainable, unpatriotic international development, which leads to massive hunger, starvation, and famine worldwide. At least 40 million deaths annually. That's right, because though you simple peons here in America, you don't look outside of yourselves, right? There's a lot of people dying of massive starvation, hunger, and famine all over the world, and not just in Africa. Okay, you got places in India, right, in China, and North Korea. They resort to cannibalism in some parts of the mountains. All right, so it's famine in various places, and soon it's going to be famine in America. Okay, since the formalization of war, hatred, and military procurements throughout the nations, leading to millions of deaths worldwide, and finally the creation and spread of infectious disease, leading to global pandemic, plague, and pestilence on an unprecedented scale. All right, which what? America's in what? War with Afghanistan. They say they're not in war with Pakistan, Yemen, and Somalia, but through them using drones, they kill millions or hundreds by thousands by the day, man. Millions in the year, okay? If they're assassinating drone technology, all right? Which they said, and they justified under the Obama administration, that they can use it on the people too, American citizens, all right? So, that, and then you throw in them creating biological weapons, splicing, making up viruses and diseases, and even promoting destructive practices as being homosexuals, lesbians, transgenders, and bisexuals. Alright, it says other methods used include the buildup and use of nuclear, chemical, and biologic agents, weapons, and warfare, the poisoning and contamination of the planet's food and water supplies, the introduction and use of deadly pathogenic, pharmaceutical drugs in society, weather modification, and the triggering of earthquakes, volcano eruptions, tsunamis, through electromagnetic, psychotronic weapons, both on Earth and in space, like the HARP program. Alright, and this is the promotion. The promotion of homosexuality is to limit population growth and the spread of deadly AIDS virus, forcing sterilization in countries such as China, forcible vaccination, abortion, and euthanasia, etc. So that's part of their purpose, is promoting sodomy. Okay, which leads to a high. It's the most high risk practice to catch infectious disease, destroying your body, and what death. Okay. All right. It says death and the management of who lives and who dies has become central organizing principle of the 21st century. The previous century has been by far the bloodiest in human history. Hunger, famine, and disease took billions of innocent lives, which nobody's innocent. World Wars I and II, along with the dispatch regime of Mao, Pol Pot, Stalin, Hitler, Reagan, Bush, and others, took hundreds of millions. The 21st century is slapping up to accelerate this dismissal trend, where hunger, famine, disease are reaping records levels of death, the equivalent of 7 Jewish Holocausts annually, which will be, they said 6 million of them died, so that'll be 36 million yearly, which is probably higher than that now at the rate they destroying people. Alright, yearly. It says contemporarily, contemporary wars continue to rage on, and pro-life trade. In the nation of Iraq, the killing fields have taken the lives of more than 2 million men, women, and children, mostly children, right, the past decade from foreign and economic intervention. Vastly unreported is the genocide occurring in the Congo, where more than 4 million people have been slaughtered, mutilated, and massacred recently, with only cent of world attention given. Added to this, the unrestricted and unprofitable buildup of weapons of mass destruction, nuclear, chemical, and biological, in the world, particularly in the violent Middle East region, with the expressed desire and willingness to actually use them, and you have an apocalyptic of World War III becoming a virtual inevitably. The death toll of this war is sure to surpass all previous in scale and in magnitude as has been planned. The international campaign to eliminate the useless eaters, according to Club of Rome, on behalf of the planet's privileged ruling elite, is sure to take a more voracious toll on global population levels continue to rise. Alright? It says the implement of their final solution to depopulate 4 to 5 billion people from the earth, which now, this is an old article. This is about, 7 years old, but it still applies today because they're doing these things, and it's increasing. Alright? They want to eliminate 6.5 billion from the earth. The world's elite will undoubtedly harness the newly emerging biotech and nanotechnology institutions to create a super bioweapon virus, creating a global kill-off pandemic through which only they will have the cure. Alright, I'm going to post this link. But the point, alright, that I wanted to pull out was in here. Alright, this is part of their methods. It says the promotion of homosexuality to limit population growth. Because the elites know, they ain't stupid. They know that that is a destructive lifestyle. Okay? Alright? But that's being pushed out as something good or positive, which really is evil. Okay? And Gen.Yahana sold out, man. Alright? You know he sold out because he teach against the chip. He teach against, he coming up with all types of madness, talking about everybody got the mark of the beast. White women's the mark of the beast. Righteous men in the scripture had the mark of the beast, which is blasphemy. Okay? Then he said that there's such thing as mixed seed. Alright? All types of madness, and this is the new madness that's been pushed out. Alright? But we went through facts and through the scriptures proving that that's a destructive, alright, lifestyle. Okay? So let me get these few scriptures to wind it down. Alright? So this dude is a demon. Alright? You need to avoid this guy. Alright? And you need, if you a man of the Lord, you need to call out his wickedness, man. Alright? This video, I know it's going to be hella long, but it needed to be put out, man. Because he's a damn demon, man. And the Lord's going to destroy him and those that follow him. This is 2 Peter 2:1. It says, but there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privately shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that bought them, and bringing upon themselves swift destruction. And it says, verse 2, and many shall follow their pernicious ways, which the word pernicious means destructive. Alright? And this is a destructive way, man. By reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. And that's what I bet you, man, if they just see Gen.Yahana's name and ISUPK in the title, it's either gonna get flagged or people gonna come up there and start popping